The saying goes, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and Chris Stouffer was certainly both, taking the win in the HPP Simulation 200 at Michigan International Speedway, his second win of the season in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, presented by First Medical Equipment. Stouffer edged ahead of Michael Goodman as the second and final caution of the event flew, with 2 laps remaining. Stouffer led 41 laps, a race high. Goodman led 26 more. The duo dominated the event. Stouffer edged ahead of Goodman on the front straightaway, coming to 2 laps to go as the caution flew, when James Paulson hit the wall in turn 2 and slid all the way to 3 before coming to a stop, unable to safely get off the track. For Dan Guerin, he also benefited from the timing of the caution, beating Jason Galvin for the final podium spot by virtue of location on the track. On lap 10, Guerin and Galvin were racing for 4th, exiting turn 2 when Guerin pushed up and made contact, turning Galvin. The duo both slid low. Galvin was nearly perpendicular to the track, but somehow both cars gathered it up and rebounded over the next 90 laps to finish in the top 5. Andrew Kinsella rounded out the top 5 in 5th. Tony Schowen finished 7th while leading 11 laps in the race, and Joe Branch was 11th. The race's only other incident brought out the first caution on lap 4 when Ed Tutwiler pushed into Woodrow Mahan in turn 3, sparking a massive crash. Dustin Wardlow catapulted into the fence. Jack Bogan, Frank Beeser, Mark Amick also collected in that wreck. On that restart, Goodman, Stouffer, and Schowen jumped out front. They remained there for the majority of the race before Schowen shuffled back during green flag pit stops. The results leave Jake Wright, the 2-time defending series champion, in the points lead by 21 over Guerin. Kinsella sits 3rd, 30 points out of the lead. HPP Simulation, engineered to win, built to last. Nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system in the world of sim racing. HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing.
The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and he missed the complete that. He's crazy.
Outside Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
For these drivers, it isn't about the largest purse in Lionheart history, it's about keeping the memory of Dan Weldon alive. Any one of the 42 drivers can win, but to do so they will need speed and determination. Rookies must battle hardened veterans, and all must conquer an assortment of roads and ovals.
On the inside, can he make it stick? He loses momentum. No, he cannot make it stick. Race pulls ahead. There's nothing they touch. The winner is going to be Big Joe. No, it's Stouffer. I called him wrong. He's going to try to close the door out of pit exit, and I think he has to.
With the history of double-digit winners per season, the challenge will be harder than ever. Which one will ultimately be crowned Lionheart champion? You're watching the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment, the premier American open-wheel championship on iRacing, exclusively on GSRC.
The Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment visits Dover International Speedway for the American Cancer Society iRace, a Race for the Cure 150. This afternoon, it's round 14 of 24 on the Season 5 schedule. That is in the midst of the tightest championship battle in league history. And all the DW12 action from green flag to victory donuts can be seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. From the Diamond State, welcome to Von Hansen's Countdown to Green. Over the next 15 streaming award-worthy minutes, GSRC will furnish you with all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the American Cancer Society Race for the Cure 150. Way up in the press box to bring you our Word's Eye view is yours truly, Bill Soupzon, joined by Sean Crackers Ambrose. In the production van is the best director in sim racing broadcasting, Amjad Yaman, armed with cameras, located, aimed, focused, and zoomed by GSRC's in-house director of photography, Dougie Beard. Considered the premier fixed setup racing league for the Dallara DW12 on the iRacing service, The Lionheart IndyCar Series honors the memory of the late Dan Weldon. Now, the only other time the Lionheart IndyCar Series raced here at Dover was last season when Jonathan Goke led 66 laps to take the win. With the real thing forced to miss this event as he serves his suspension, a first-time Dover winner is assured. But before we go to green to find out who will join Goke on the Monster Miles winners list, Sean, we've got a lot to talk about.
And folks, everything on the Countdown to Green show is brought to you thanks to Von Hansen's Meat Market. Since 1983, Von Hansen's has delivered personalized, full service in a friendly, old-fashioned meat market environment. They offer a large and ever-expanding selection of meat products and menu ideas ranging from casual gatherings to special occasions. For more information, please visit vonhansens.com. Soup, let's talk about this track. And they don't call it the Monster Mile for nothing. And not just because there's a 46-foot-tall, muscle-bound statue outside the gates named Miles the Monster. Most notably, this is a NASCAR destination. Since opening in '69, the Monster Mile has held at least 2 NASCAR races each year. But since the Dallara is the car du jour this evening, it should be noted that the Verizon IndyCar Series did visit here twice, in '98 and '99, and the old USAC Series came here once way back in 1969. And the original asphalt surface was replaced with concrete in 1995. And oh Lord, I'll tell you what, it did change the feel of this track. This 1 mile oval has corners banked at 24 degrees and 9 degrees on the straights that tend to make them self-cleaning in regards to spinning and crashing race cars. So the best way to get an idea of what this place is really like, though, let's jump on board very quickly. We'll wrap around the GSRC Dallara DW12.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin around the Dover International Speedway in the GSRC DW12 IndyCar. This is going to be a whole lot of fun, so strap in and hang out. Down off into turn 1 in these high banks of Dover. Let a downshift probably end in 4th and then let it roll the bottom there and all the way off in the corner. Turn 3, same situation. Let it roll in, out of the gas just a hair, just enough to probably get it to downshift back into the gas all the way off of the corner. Back onto the front stretch, down off into the corner. It really makes the pit of your stomach almost feel like it's going to touch your throat. The way that the corners are here at Dover. But back out again, feels like you're getting shot out of a cannon. Down off into turn 3 once again. Let it roll the bottom all the way down. 4th gear, probably going to grab 5th right here, cross the line. But I'll tell you what, that's going to complete our very fast track guide here around the Dover International Speedway. I'm Brian Yazek. Enjoy the show.
And there you have a recorded lap around the Monster Mile. And now, before we look at the point standings, keep in mind that these numbers will not reflect the 3 drop races allowed for in the rules. But I have all the info right here in front of me, so I'm going to walk you through both situations here as we look at these raw points to see right out in front of Garen Kinsella. But now, Jake Wright, he's racing for No Name Racing. His 2-race win streak came to an end at Michigan when the best he could do was a 9th place. Now, Dan Guerin for Hashtag Nailed It. His 3rd at Michigan shrinks his interval to the lead by only 12 points when we talk about the drop points. Note that it's 21 when we talk raw points. Andrew Kinsella for Adrenaline Racing hasn't won since the season opener, but a 5th at Michigan allowed Havoc Catch to shrink that deficit by 7 points as well. It's showing 30 there. It's a little less when you talk about drop points. How about Ryan Otis for Streamline Racing? You know, he hasn't posted a top 10 in his last 3 races. He's averaged 20th over that time. Nevertheless, with Goke's suspension, he moves up a spot in the drop points. Now, you're going to see him farther down in 6th there. But again, he's had some hard times. So when you drop those races, when what really counts is the drop totals, he's much higher in 4th position. How about Pierre Nightingale for No Name Racing? He holds station in the drop races in 6th position, showing 5th there in the raw totals. And finally, let's talk about Chris Stouffer for Adrenaline Racing. His Michigan win was his 2nd of the season. Now in the drop chart, that jumps him up 17 points closer to the lead. So we'll keep an eye on him as the season progresses. Still in the hunt Let's look at the team championships. So these are going to be accurate as the teams don't take into account drop races. Adrenaline Motorsports had a huge day at Michigan, posting 153 points, thanks to Chris Stouffer's win, Andrew Kinsella's 5th, and Tony Schauen's 7th. Now, moving AGR up a spot past Team Nailed It. Let's talk about Nailed It a bit. They are undermanned now with only Dan Guerin and Michael Gray on the roster, and they're going to have to struggle, really work hard if they want to stay in 3rd place. They ranked 6th at Michigan, only scoring 70 points. The most interesting fight is the 5th place battle, where 4 teams are within 34 points of each other, and they continue to swap positions each round. The big winner of Michigan was Controlled Chaos, ranking 5th of the race and climbing 2 spots. That had Robert Mikas in 8th, Vincent Bluthethal a 17th, and Dave Whammy Barber a 19th. Dragonfly, Blue Bayou, and Streamline ranked 6th, 7th, and 8th. But all of this is going on behind No Name Racing. 3rd for the day at Michigan, they are powered by Pierre Nightingale. In 2nd, Jake's Wright had a 9th place, and of course, Big Joe Hazard, he got 18th as well. So, Sean, we've talked about the driver and the team championship. What do you got to look at?
Well, you know what, Soup? I think we'll start with the rookie standing. Let's take a look at that. See where the rookies are at right now. Kinsella, right there up top still. Brian Otis still digging deep down within himself, trying to get there. It's still a tight battle. They still have a ways to go. Michael Goodman, he's going to have to pick up a couple wins at this point, and he's still looking for that first one. So this could get interesting, especially with Bolster sitting back there, only about 41 points back. You've got Jägerliner, who's no longer going to be running the IndyCar series, so he'll continue to tumble, getting Wardlow and guys like Paulson, Collins, Moeller, Turnbull making their ways up. Brian Greenlee back there in 13th. He's still fighting with the car, getting better every week, and maybe he can bring the fight to Turnbull. We'll see. Now let's next look at the manufacturer's standings. These are the ones we love to follow every week. The Toyota is still on top. The Chevy, though, it's making up ground, Soup. It's making up a lot of ground. They are knocking on the door of Toyota now. Mazda, quite a bit of ways back, but they've got 3rd all locked up. If they just continue the pace they're on, it's going to be really hard for the Blue Oval to give them any fight. Honda is in a battle with Mercedes back there 5th and 6th. And Tesla, they're going to need a lot of help at this point. They're going to need more than electric motors to get it done this season. But let's look at the Sim Money standings and who's got the money. Show me the money, Soup. All right, there he is. Jake Wright, $1.576 million. Not bad. Kinsella, though, just, only, what is that, about 300,000 behind him. That's really close. That could change in a matter of a couple of races. Dan Guerin, also with $1.2 million. Michael Gray and James Krahula, Jason Galvin, all at the 1 million mark. Look at Mike Goodman, the rookie there, up there at the 1 million mark. And then everybody else behind, we know Goke with his suspension from the league will continue to fall down that list. But Degley, Otis, they're sitting pretty good, just under $1 million. So your top 10 all within that $1 million mark. And this far into the season, considering damage, entry fees, and everything are all taken into account with that money system, Soup. Not bad if you're still over $1 million at this point.
Absolutely. As we look at George Adams out there, practice is over. Adams putting in that first qualifying run right now with lap times of just under 18 seconds. It won't take long for these guys to get in their 2 laps. They have 5 minutes to do it. While that's going on, Sean, let's quickly, for the new viewers, let's bring up the series details. We won't talk about all of them, but let's take a second and talk about what I think is the most important, and that is item number 6 on the list, and that is the setup. Now, you have a little bit of experience there. How does this setup work on this track? How are the drivers feeling about it, tire wear, that type of thing?
Soup, I got to tell you, the tires don't last long here. It's a very, very aggressive surface. You talked about the speeds. We're seeing laps right now at 17.7 seconds. I want you to think about that, people. This is a mile-long track. You're getting around it in 17.7 seconds. Something's got to give. It's the tires. A lot of heat. It's hot out here today. It's 110 degrees on track, Sue. And that is going to be a factor. Now, the setup that they're using is a setup that they've all worked with. The problem with is as soon as the problem, not necessarily with the set, but just racing at this track, is that once the tank starts to get a little bit light, the car really gets wicked around here and hard to drive. You got to stay off the apron, and you certainly got to stay off the wall. And that's going to be a condition these drivers will fight throughout most of the race.
There you see our director has put up the qualifying times as they stand right now. Andrew Casella up there, James Grahula just jumping into second place. Sean, before we bring up the next graphic, let's go ahead. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the prizes that this series has to offer.
Oh yeah, I know, it's so great what these guys are fighting for. I mean, a little over $1,800 in cash, with the league champion winning a $1,250 set of HPP pedals. Total cash and prizes here in the league this season, just over $3,450. And the prizes, they include limited edition books, digital prints, posters, you name it. So there's a lot at stake, and these guys fight hard every week for the big payout here at the end of the season. A lot of drivers are going to come home with some good money when we wrap this thing up at the end of 24 rounds.
Got about a minute to go before we have to get to our plug here for the HPP pedals. Let's quickly put up the overlay for the event details. We won't talk about them all, but you see that we're going 150 laps, 150 miles. Sean, let's talk about the stint that we can run here today. You talked a little bit about it before. I guess a two-stop really out of the question, huh?
Yeah, I really don't think that's going to be realistic. I honestly think your tires are going to give up on you long before fuel. You try to stay out here for 48 to 49 laps. If we get a run that's that long, I think you'll be on the wall. I don't think you'll make that many laps. Not in traffic anyway. That's going to be very, very tough to compete with. I mentioned the weather here on the track today, Soup. It's 84 degrees outside. It's 110 degrees on the track on a cloudy afternoon with about 55% humidity. It's going to be awful slick and scary out there.
Good, and qualifying is just about done. You can see that Michael Goodman was able to get to the top there with a great second lap. So they're about ready to go racing. And you know, when it is time to go racing, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPT Simulations. Designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment, HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulating racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulations.com. Okay, there's not much of a pace lap here before we go green, so let's quickly go to our grid right now. We'll hustle through this and see if we can get this done and bring in the on-car cameras as well. On the front row, Sean, it's Michael Goodman and Jason Robarge.
Row 2, Brian Yazik, Dan Karen.
He sat on the pole for a little while. Andrew Kinsella now in fifth. James Grahula outside him.
All right, and you've got row 4, Adam Blocker, George Adams.
Last row on the overlay, Jason Galvin inside of points leader Jake Wright.
All right, row 6, George Anzaldo and Big Joe Hassert, the Big Joe Show.
In the Baker's Dozen spot, Tony Schowen inside of Chris Stouffer.
All right, row 8, Pierre Degla and Pete Edwins.
17th and 18th goes to Bob Mikas and Dave Whammy Barber.
All right, row 10, Ron Hacker, Brandon Limkin in the First Medical Equipment DW12.
Hidden Blackjack is Matthew Mercer in the double duck spot, Woodrow Mahan.
Yes, sir. Row 12, Vincent Bluthenthal and Jack Bogan.
Scott Bolster and the Racing Kangaroo, Michael Gray in 25th and 26th.
All right, 27th and 28th, going to go to Ed Tutwiler and Brian Greenlee.
And then the final three drivers out there, one of them posted a time, Robert Bluen in 29th, Patrick Taylor and Mark Omrick in 30th and 31st did not put in a qualifying time. Sean, onboard cameras?
Yes, sir. We're going to go first to Dan Karen in that onboard camera, and Dan carrying the Team Nailed It onboard camera tonight. Now we'll go to Brian Yazik. He is riding with the Lock Precision onboard camera this evening. He will be our driver of the week. Give you a little info on him. And now let's look at Pete Edwins in the DirtyBlinds.com onboard camera. Pete running with that there. Always fun to clean those dirty blinds, isn't it, Sue?
Again, I have to question the name of that company. It would seem like Dirty Blinds, not Dirty Blinds is what I would call that, but they are very, you know what? Not only will they come and clean your blinds, but they'll give you the equipment to start your own business. So if you're looking for something to do, check out Dirty Blinds. It looks like they really have a good routine going on. And as we talk about that, the pace car is pulling out right now. We're going 150 laps, 150 miles. My partner thinks a lot of them are going to be under yellow, but I'm more positive. I think we're going to be green. And
hey, I didn't say that.
Well, you said that the practice race was a bit, well, how can I put this? A bit messy. Let me clean it up a bit for you. But sometimes when you have those bad dress rehearsals, the show comes out really well. Talking about the show, did you enjoy your trip to New York? Who'd you see?
I did enjoy both Iron Maiden shows at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And it was first time in that venue, and I got to say, the Barclays Center is an okay place, Sue.
Want to know how good a time you had? Go ahead onto our YouTube channel and check out some of the broadcasts on Sunday morning that Sean had to do.
Wow.
He was sounding a little raspy there. Pace car pulls in. Okay, get ready. Gather up the chickens. Take cover behind the cows, because the horses are out of the barn, and Michael Goodman leads them down into the first corner. He is followed by, that's Brian Yozik in second. A battle for third going on back there with the rainbow machine of Rabarge on the outside. It looks like Dan Guerin is going to get the best of that. Rabarge stuck on the high side. There's that familiar yellow-colored machine ducking on the inside now of Rabarge.
And lap one is complete, Soup. It's just like that.
Andrew Kinsella. I said familiar. I misidentified him. Kinsella not racing his usual cool machine out there. At least, yeah, he's got new colors.
He does, Soup. We've got big news on that. We'll get to that here in just a moment.
I know what that news is. Look like dropping back now on the top side. That's Dan. Oh my goodness, Dandy Dan almost got in the wall from second place as he begins to fall back. We talked about the front. How about driver in sixth position, racing in that blue machine back there? Beautiful colored car. That is George Adams. Let me correct myself. He's in eighth. Wrong blue car. Adam Blocker. Oops, I hear somebody in the wall. Do we have a problem? I guess not.
Yeah. Adam, one of the new guys here. Yeah, Tony Showen having connection issues right now.
So let me do a better job of running down the back half of your top 10. Now it's Krahula up there racing in sixth position. In that white Patriot Fire machine. He's followed by George Adams in that beautiful sky blue car. 2x2 in the back. On the top side, that's Michael Goodman. Jason Galvin sitting on the inside in the familiar KGET machine with some new logos on there as well. We'll talk about that a little later. There's your point reader. Jake Wright moving up on the inside now. Inside of Goodman. Rounding out the top 10. Well, actually, Goodman's in 10. George Anzalda back there in 11th. Boy, you get stuck on the top side, Sean. That does not look like the place to be.
No, it's really not, Sue. And balancing it down there on the bottom, very, very tough. You do not want to get any part of this apron. You do not want any of that. Such a challenge. The aero wash, a really, really big deal here, too. In this traffic, you're really fighting to keep that car down.
Let's go up front for a minute as...
Oh, got a car.
What do you got?
It was George Anzalo had to get out of the throttle. Sorry about that. He didn't. I don't think he did not make contact with the wall. But boy, it was a close moment for him. Car was pushing really, really bad.
He had moved all the way up to 11th position. Now we ride on board up front. Now this is what I'm talking about. Yozik up front, trying to make the top side work is Dandy Dan up there. He's got a good run out of 4. Let's see if he can get, let's see if he's going to get credit for leading that lap. No, he was behind by 2 1/1000ths of a second. But look at that top line work. Watching the whole thing happen back there in that new colors for him is Kinsella. Watching in third. I think Guerin's got a shot to lead this lap this time. Yeah, and let's give him credit with leading that lap. I don't know if he's able to finish the job, but it's good to know that he can get to the start-finish line first. Sean, I continue to hear bumping and banging going on in the back, but so far, 12 laps in, we're still green.
Yes, sir, we are, and man, they have spread out all over this place. I mean, literally, cars from one end of the track to the other already in the early stages of this race. It's really unfolding here into quite a battle. Brian Greenlee having early trouble calling for a pit. I didn't see him getting any trouble.
A pass for second while this is going on as Kinsella dives the car underneath Yazik. Okay, Sean, just from never being in one of these cars, but to me it looks like as the tires go away, the guys have a hard time keeping them down, and they touch! There goes Yazik. Kinsella got into him. Yazik tries to keep it up in front of somebody. No, that's Dagla gets into him as Yazik comes up the track. And there are more calls involved as well. We're going to go on board with Yazik. You can see now Yazik is down. He's safe down here, but he just can't keep the car down, and it drifts up, and Dagla gets him. And another car that got into him after that was all done. Oh, Woodrow Mahan. He had the car woed up. Let's stay on this a minute if we can stay on Yazik. Poor Woodrow. Watch, he's got the car slowed down. Now there's the second hit. And here comes Mahan. Oh, just gets him.
Yeah, and Yazik gets turned over in that.
Let's go ahead and talk about our profile driver of the night, Sean. Who are we talking to? Oh, it's Brian Yazik. Get him before he leaves.
Yeah, it's Brian Yazik, who's obviously not off to a great start, but 26 career starts here in the Lionheart IndyCar Series. Yazik's been around for a little bit. Best finish, second in Season 4 at Texas. Best start, third at Kentucky, Season 5. And first career start was at the Motegi Ring back in Season 4. And, again, Yazik with a little bit of trouble here early. 15th currently in the drop standings, 13th in sim money. His 12th at Milwaukee was the first lead lap result in his last 7 races, illustrated by his 24th place ranking in laps completed this season, Sue. Unfortunately, it looks like that effort might take a tumble tonight.
Kind of, you leave that last part illustrated by the 24th place ranking in the laps completed. Yeah, he's going to fall right into that one, I think, as he's going to have a hard time. No fast repairs here. We showed you on those series details. This is you break it, you bought it. This is big boy racing in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, the way that it should be. Now, we also have a trivia question, but we're not going to bring it up yet because my co-commentator here, Crackers, he has guaranteed me that there's going to be plenty of opportunities under yellow to bring that trivia question in. Well, so we're going to save that a little bit.
I will say these caution periods don't last very long, Soup. The pit pace speed is only 45 miles an hour, but once they get pitted and settled, it does not take long to get this race going again.
Well, the leaders coming across right now under yellow, working lap 18. So let's update you on what happened in pit lane. Dan Guerin is the leader of all the cars who pitted. Guerin, Kinsella, Blocker, Rabarge, Gruhola, Big Joe Hassard all came in to name the top ones. The drivers who stay out, well, all the guys in front of them, look who it is. Jason Galvin, Bob Mikas, Dave Whammy Barber, Scott Bolster, George Anzaldo. I'm not sure I disapprove of this. I think this is a good idea. Vincent Blumenthal also running in 6th. With yellow flags being frequent and passing so tough, this is a good way to pick up some track position. But Sean, how fast are they going to be with old tires here? Are they going to get run over?
Boy, I'll tell you what. I don't know if those tires are old enough, but I certainly think there's going to be a bit of a fight here coming up through these 6 drivers that decided to stay out with tires. Again, this surface is very, very aggressive on the tires, and we will see upwards of a second to 2 seconds difference between new and old tires. I just don't know if these tires are quite old enough yet, but we're going to do a little bit of learning on this first restart, Sue.
Some tracks are smooth and the tires locks for a long time. Here at Dover, wears tires faster than most.
Oh, boy. Apparently race control didn't think we had enough time to get that done, so they have...
Want to go one more time? Okay.
Looks like it, yeah.
Maybe they wanted me to go the trivia question. Well, it's not going to happen yet. We're going to save that a bit later. Oh, they're working on they're trying to figure out their order right now. They're still trying to figure it out. Bluin was talking about something. I guess he wasn't happy where he was. So the top 6 drivers out in front. We'll see how that KGET machine does. His tires may not be old, but he's probably old enough to maybe sneak a drink at the bar. We come in Bob Mikas in second. Dave Barber going to hit inside of row 2. My wife watched the race last time. She said, stop with the accountant joke, so honey, no more. She says I'm picking on Dave, either a guitar player, and then I went to the accountant, so she just said stop it. So, Dave, you're safe tonight.
Yeah, they're still trying to get things reset out here, Sue.
Not sure what the problem is. I think iRacing has a pretty good idea. 6 cars stayed out. They're working on it.
Well, I want to give a shout out to George for recovering. He had dropped all the way back to 19th. And he is able to get back up through that mess.
Yeah.
And get himself back into 5th to restart this race.
He was battling for top 10, and then he had that issue. He fell back.
Yeah.
Don't want to give you the hard charges right now because pretty much they're all up there in front, the guys who are working for track position. This could really work out for guys like Mikas, Barber, Bolster, and Blumenthal. They're all up 15 or more spots. They were laboring back there mid-pack. The question is, can they stay out of trouble? What they're looking for here is a yellow flag relatively soon enough that everyone will come in for tires, but not so soon as no one will come in and they'll have to lose their spot. Pace car is in, single file restart. Jason Galvin out of Bakersfield gets the jump, and he's going to lead him down into the first corner. Mikas comfortably in second, Barber, Bolster, and George Anzaldo in 5th. Remember, George hasn't pitted yet. The other driver, Vincent Blumenthal. Dan Guerin back in 7th. He's the only guy with new rubber. And he's got a little bit of work to do as Blutenthal's picked up about almost 7/10 of a second on him. That'll be short-lived, I believe. Oh, I heard somebody.
Oh, spinning off for 4.
George Adams, and it looks like he got into the red car. That's Tony Schowen. Clipping him as they go by is Mark Omrick.
Yeah, and, you know, it's getting that apron. George gets the apron down below and loses the car. Comes across, collects Stouffer right there in the middle of the track. Oh, that was ugly. Several other cars involved in that too, picking up damage.
Omrick was one of them. We're going to look on board with Omrick, who almost got by. This goes to show you how hard it is to stay out of trouble here.
Well, yeah, we're on board with Omrick here. Going back live, Andrew Kinsella, a victim once again there, Sue. Gets repaired, got back out on the track, and now the car it's destroyed. He's making its way in. We're going to try and pick him up on the replay. Here we go. There's Kinsella in the green and black car, the Adrenaline Motorsports driver. You're going to see here he just really has nowhere to go. That must have been from the checkup. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, Kinsella. Well, from above.
Yeah, let's look from above.
Oh boy, you know, Sean, you talked about it. Go ahead. You know where I'm going.
Yeah, you know, talked about this. One of the things I noticed in the practice race last night was a lot of net code, and that looks like that is exactly what that was. And again, I'll say poor Andrew Kinsella. Again, just kind of a victim there. Man, there was no contact. No, absolutely none.
That was in our notes here for the pre-race show, but they have a short pace lap here at Dover. We couldn't get it in, but yeah, net code was a big factor at the practice race.
Well, you know what? While we're still in the caution, let's talk about it real quick. I mean, we've got a new sponsor here this evening. Sorry that Kinsella's out, but we've got 3 drivers running that new sponsor.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah, well, Jason Galvin being one of them. We've got Jason Galvin, Andrew Kinsella, and Woodrow Mahan all now with the the new sponsor, and that's getting that up here, Soup. I'm trying to remember exactly. I don't want to get it wrong. Alaska Plastic Dip Garage, and they'll be displaying the company's name and logo on their cars for the remainder of the season. For more information about Alaska Plastic Dip Garage, you can visit their website at plastidipgarage.com. Plasti, P-L-A-S-T-I.
You got to check into it. It looks really good. It's a plastic coating for your car. You can put it on any colors. What I think they do, I'm probably wrong about this, I think they put the car on like a crane and they dip it in like a frozen banana. That's probably not the way they do it, but that's kind of how it looks.
Yeah,
and it comes out.
So.
Oh, no, right, probably not. They probably do it more technical than that. But it's really cool. So I was like, and I guess in Alaska, probably that's, I don't know if that's
they're actually
in Alaska, but yeah.
They're in Anchorage.
Yeah, that seems like something you may want up there in that kind of weather. Protects your paint, doesn't hurt the car, and makes it look really, really neat. They have all sorts of colors. And Sean is probably correct. Crackers probably has. I do not think they dip the whole car in there. I think there's probably a more technical way to put it in, but it kind of looks that way. Really, really cool. Great to have them on board. Lights are off. They're going to go around one more time, so you may be wondering what happened with pit stops, huh? Well, nothing happened. Galvin, Micas, Barber, Bolster, and Zaldo, and Blumenthal. I said they wanted a yellow, but they wanted it to be a little farther down. That was too soon for them. They're going to stay out, enjoy their track position.
Soup?
Yes.
Plastic Dip has a color called Blurple Pearls.
Oh, that's
I want you to
good.
stew on that one, all right? Blurple Pearls.
It not only does it sound pretty, it sounds delicious.
Blurple.
Sounds like the flavor of a Slurpee you'd get at the 7-Eleven.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, always comes back to food, Soup.
As our leader continues to be Jason Galvin. He's been out there since the first yellow flag. He's ahead of Micas. They're all racing in order again. It's Barber, Bolster, and Zaldo, and Blumenthal. The good news here for Galvin, single file, so he can really control this. Pace car is in. And here we go. When he crosses the start-finish line, he'll be lurking lap 27 of 150. Galvin out in front comfortably. Barber, Bolster back there racing, and Zaldo, Blumenthal, the last car. Now, let's keep an eye on Dan Guerin. He's the first guy
too
with
late,
some
Soup.
rubber.
Caution's already out. Pierre Degla with the trouble this time. Boy, the car just turned on him. That's weird.
Go ahead.
I don't know what happened to Pierre there. Everybody gets by him just barely. That car just turned by itself, it seemed like.
Yeah,
I wonder if that was a hardware failure right there.
He was behind Ed Tupweller, and the car just turned. And Mercer does a great job of getting by. He almost collects him. And we come back live. So, I'm going to assume that since that green flag run was only about half a lap, that Galvin, Micas, Barber, Bolster, and Zaldo, and Blumenthal sounds like a law firm somewhere. They're going to stay out some more. Matthew Mercer talking to the Racing Kangaroo, asking him if he is damaged. Mercer was the driver that got around real quick. Let's, we're not going to go to break yet. Let's go ahead and bring up the trivia question. Director, is that okay? We'll get that out of the way here. So we figure out how to fill these yellow flags. Okay, now here's our trivia question. Let me scroll down to it a little bit. You know, bookending the round 13 event at Michigan were a pair of races at 1 mile ovals. The Milwaukee Mile this afternoon's race at the Monster Mile as well. So with that in mind, here's your round 14 trivia question. Who is the IndyCar driver, now that's USAC Kart, IRL, or IndyCar, with 84 career starts, but his or her only 2 career wins came in the same year at Milwaukee and Dover? So you're looking for an IndyCar driver from any time through USAC all the way through the current IRL right now, or the IndyCar that's right now. 84 starts, only had 2 wins, both in the same year at Milwaukee and Dover. Cracker's going to be monitoring the YouTube chat to see if anyone has the right answer on that, and we'll announce it at the end of the show.
Good luck.
That's a tough one. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a few. presented by First Medical Equipment. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Lionheart IndyCar Series American Cancer Society Race for the Cure 150 from Dover International Speedway. We are currently working lap 31. We are under our third yellow. Your leaders remain the same. It is Jason Galvin. Racing in 7th position, itching to do a little racing, is Dan Guerin, as he's the first driver with some fresh rubber. The 6 cars in front of him all have old rubber. I'm thinking now that these guys up front are going to try to stretch this another 19 laps to get to the 50 mark. That will be 1/3 way, and maybe they can two-stop it. But right now, here we go. KGET machine of Jason Galvin takes him down into the first corner. Micus, Barber, Bolster, and Zaldo and Bluthensall follow suit. Much closer now this time is Dan Guerin. Yeah, Dandy Dan's getting a little frisky. He'd like to get this pass made before something else happens. He's working at 6th position on the back of Bluthensall.
That was close.
Also back there in the rainbow machine is Rabarge. Look at how tough passing is though right now, as Guerin having a hard time. Oh, now he gets pushes up top as Bluthensall. He's going to let 1-2 by. Is Rabarge going to get a shot? I think so.
We just had another incident there. Michael Gray, caution flags back out.
Oh.
And Pierre Degla is the one who gets into him. And, you know, Gray's incident, much like Pierre Degla's, the car turns on him. Gets really, really tight and turns on him, and Degla collects him there.
That's really weird because it happened right in front of Degla. He's the guy who had that happen before. Degla gets a nose there of it.
Boy, Degla already had a little bit of damage on that car, and now he's going to have significant damage on it. Everybody else going to manage to get by, though, without any incident.
Night Degla can probably emphasize there with the spinning car.
All right. Well, Soup, we have an official team statement, our first one of the night here.
Okay.
A statement from the 41, Andrew Kinsella. Apologies to Brian Yazik for the contact. He hit the apron, couldn't catch it. The net coat with Big Joe was probably karma for that. Hate it for the Alaska Plasti Dip garage car. But that is our statement there from Mr. Andrew Kinsella.
Kinsella in the pits right now. Looks like he is done for the night, as he is already 11 laps down. The car sits there, though.
You know, our director just brought up an interesting point. Both of those spins by Degla and now the one by Michael Gray both seem very, very odd the way they happened. He questions, maybe wonder if they're one of those landmines there in the middle of the track. I got to be honest with you, if it happens again to somebody else, I am going to be one of those to throw out the conspiracy theory that maybe the Bermuda Triangle has opened up here at Dover this evening.
Yeah, I didn't know better. Some oil on the track out there going into turn 1. Bring out some of the kitty litter. Well, here's the good news for Dandy Dan Guerin. He was able to get the pass made on Bluthensall before the yellow flag came out, so Guerin moves up to 6. The bad news is Rabarge was trying to follow Guerin through, and the yellow flew before he could get there, so Vincent only loses 1 spot. You know, these guys who haven't pitted yet have got to be loving these yellow flags. I mean, this is more laps that they're able to keep their position. They are only 15 laps away from the 1/3 mark.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Soup, listen, this is playing right into their strategy. You know,
so many yellows, so I wouldn't be surprised if everybody can't get to that 50. I mean, they can all come in and pit. Then it's so many yellow flags. This is throwing the pit strategy right out the window.
Yeah, it is right now. Yeah, it's definitely throwing a monkey wrench into the strategy.
Again, your hard chargers all up front. Of the guys who have pitted and are in a different situation, kind of on that second strategy, let's look at Mark Omrick back there in 18th position. He's got a pretty good number from him. He qualified in 31st. Actually, didn't put in a qualifying time. He is up, what is that, 18 from 31? That sounds like 13.
Yeah, he's up 13 spots, Soup, exactly. Yeah, he's off to a great start today.
He rides right behind Brandon Linkeman in the Fire and Ice machine.
So, I don't think it's any surprise Galvin is out the front right now. He has led the most laps at Dover among the active drivers here. Going into tonight with 50 laps led, Michael Gray, next closest driver with 17. We already know his night not ending well, still in the pits now, and finds himself 5 laps down. I don't know if he's going to be able to get the Racing Kangaroo machine back out on track tonight. In fact, it looks like he has gone behind the wall, in fact.
If you're asking what Jason Galvin has been up to all season, he does have a win as he picked that one up at the Texas Oval. Coming off a 4th place finish at Michigan, a 7th at Milwaukee, and a 7th at Infineon. So he's been on a roll. How about a 5th before that at Indianapolis?
You think maybe he'd like to get that new sponsor on the top of the podium tonight?
Yeah.
So see, that plastic dip, they spray it on. It's literally sprayed on. About 40 hours of prep goes into that.
Okay, that makes much more sense than my frozen banana idea. Yeah. I could get mine done in 40 minutes, though, if you let me do it that way. All right, the pace car is in. He's getting really good at it. That's Jason Galvin. Gets on the throttle. He gets it out in front. Micus, Barber, Bolster, and Zolda, but this time it's Dandy Dan Guerin in 6th position. Let's put our cameras on Blumenthal. This is going to be where the interesting part is. He's in that light blue car back there. Here comes the rainbow machine of Jason Robarge trying to get around him. Remember, Robarge on fresh tires, Blumenthal on the old stuff. And honestly, it's a little harder than you might think. Robarge is going to get that done. Next up is the newcomer, Adam Blocker. Going to be working on Blumenthal. I think Blocker's going to do it a little faster than Robarge did. There we go. Let's go to onboard camera here with Pete Edwards. Sean?
Yeah, he's in that dirtyblinds.com onboard camera. Looking out the bat wing right now. He's got Ron Hacker chasing down. Hacker runs right up on him. Brandon Limkin back there. Mark Almick. Woodrow Mahan still very much in this race, Sue.
This is a good car to be on board because look at Hacker. Tried to make the pass, got up on the top, and that's going to open it up. And there is Limkeman going to peek in there, not going to get it done. Great battle going on back here. One of the guys, the hard charger, Mark Almerick in this mess as well. The last one back there, Sean Woodrow Mahan.
These cars are so twitchy on this track as you watch them get around. I mean, the slightest bit of movement with the wheel really upsets them, and the yellow flag is back out again.
Is it Pierre Degla again?
Pierre Degla again. Yes, it was, Soup.
Oh, and he blinked away. I have a hunch that it might be good night for Pierre Degla, as he might have hit his incident cap.
Yeah, and the car spun, went down, caught a bit of the apron, and you're going to see here on the replay, and it spun on the apron up onto the track surface.
And if we stay on this for a minute, you'll see what it's like to go to the Twilight Zone, into a land of not only sight and sound, but of the mind as well, as he spins, and all of a sudden he's on the track, and then he's not.
I don't know that he could have ejected that quick. I wonder, with all the...
Yeah, how many times can you spin around? Yeah, sure, it's got to be. They only give you, if memory serves, if I can check my overlay, I think it was only 12. But sure.
Yeah, it is 12, yeah. Boy, and it looks like he got to that limit, Soup. And,
oh, look at this. How about Jason Galvin has decided to come in, and Guerin is going to follow him. Now, this is interesting. So Micus, Bolster, and Barber all decide to stay out. Galvin comes in. Big Joe Hassard stays out. We're going to have a mixed bag now, boys and girls.
Yeah, we really are. Because you got Micus, Bolster, and Barber up there.
They're on their own. They're on their long pit strategy.
They are playing the long game for sure. Galvin wins the race off of pit road right now. Guerin out behind him. Robarge to follow.
In fact, only a few cars, drivers who stayed out, that pitted the first time, decided to stay out. Big Joe Hassard stays out. So does Peter Edwin. So there's really only 2 of those guys. I guess you can throw in Ed Tupweiler as well. They're kind of on that middle stint. Everybody else comes in for new tires. Jason Galvin's got to be happy with that. Now he's on the same strategy with all the guys who were behind him, but you know, he's out in front of them all. Well, Sean, we thought with lap times of under 18 seconds that this could be a quick one. The wife asked me what kind of race we had. I told her 150 laps and there are only 18 seconds to go around. She said, good, you'll be back in time to watch Big Brother live. Not going to make it, honey. Just following up on that, if they don't kick Joshua out this week, that mama's boy has got to go. That's just my last Big Brother's comment.
I wish I knew what you were talking about.
Oh, you don't watch.
I'm sorry, I'm out on that one.
Oh, you don't. It's such a. I'm going to get in trouble here. It's such a feminine adventure. Let me put it that way.
All right, so I will tell you some truth.
Yes.
I did watch the very first 2 seasons of Big Brother, and then I kind of checked out on it. So.
Yeah, it's. I wish I was you.
My TV schedule got full, okay, and something had to go, and well, Big Brother seemed to be the thing at the time.
But honey, I'm not going to make it, so make sure the DVR is working, because right now we are working. It looks like yellow number 4, I guess. It seems like more than that. I might have missed one. Micah's, Bolster, and Barber out in front. 4 more laps to the 1/3 distance. Big Joe Hazard on medium old tires. And out there on virgin rubber, Jason Galvin, Dan Guerin, and the rest of the drivers behind them. Round 14 to 24, the Lionheart IndyCar Series. Jake Wright, your point leader, being chased by Dan Guerin, who's out there right now. We talked about him, currently running in 9th position. Brandon Limkeman, the rookie, who's been very exciting early on. Went about the first, probably 10, 11 races, completing every lap. That streak was broken, and now it has broken again as Havaketch going to finish in 26th. As his night is over, I would assume, although the car remains parked in the stall, so you never know. Big movers out there. Well, it continues to be Omrick, who is one of the big movers there, up 12 spots. Of course, he didn't put in qualifying time. The overall big mover is Scott Bolster, but that's kind of skewed because he has yet to pit.
Yeah, and these guys playing the long game right now.
Yep.
You know, this could work out for them. This may not be a bad call.
Pace car is in. Well, for the first time, it's not Jason Galvin taking him back to green after a yellow flag. It is Bob Micas out there in the Von Hansen meat machine. And right now, he's cooking as he is racing in first position. He is up by 0.2 of a second on Scott Bolster and Dave Whammy Barber, the guitar-playing accountant, running in 3rd comfortably. The best news for Barber right now is he's got Big Joe Hazard back there. Yeah, Hazard is probably faster. His rubber is fresher than Barber's. But remember, Hazard is probably going to be able to hold off. Blumenthal is back there as well. Look at this as Edwins now. Check Edwins. Yeah, Edwins is on the same pit strategy as Hazard.
And you got Galvin right behind
here he comes.
There. Like Galvin looking to the inside here.
This really is where the action is back here, this battle for 7th. Actually, all the way up to 6th there with Edwins. You got Galvin on the fresh rubber. Look at that car. Who is that up on top there? That looks like Barber.
That's Dave Barber, yeah.
Not sure if he had an issue or if this rubber's given up on him.
I think it's given up on him, Sue. Yeah. You're seeing a big difference there in tires.
In fact, let's go to 2nd position. This is Big Joe Hazard, dives underneath Scott Bolster. You can see these guys on old tires having trouble keeping it down low. Hazard moves into 2nd. Next up is Bob Micas. And I don't think Big Joe needs to force the issue here because Bob's got to come in pretty soon.
Galvin's still setting this move up here. Looks like he's going to get it done.
And he has got around. He has left He has left Guerin. Now Guerin gets underneath the white and blue car of Blumenthal. Let's go up front. That's the meat machine on the top, Bob Mikas, but he has nothing for the car of Big Joe Hazard. Hazard, careful, Joe.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Ed
King Tutwiler.
Yeah, Ed Tutwiler with trouble. I honestly think that trouble started with Dave Barber.
I think it was the yellow car. With Tutwiler, yeah, maybe. You're right. And they checked up Sean, and then that's what happened. The blue car got into him as well. Let's see if we can figure out who those were.
Oh, I see what it was. Actually, a little wheel-to-wheel contact between Chris Stouffer and Dave Barber as they headed into the turn.
Yep.
Headed into turn 1. That sends Barber up into the wall. And, well, the ensuing contact is you get, oh, man, a lot of cars involved.
Ron Hacker.
Brandon Limkeman, Hacker, all have their races what appear to be ended there. Ed Tutwiler
Robert Lewin involved as well.
Boy, Tutwiler's machine just destroyed on that.
Yeah, you're right, though. It was Barber who got a little help going around. He did a really good job of keeping it off the wall. Would have been a great save if weren't cars coming up behind him in a hurry. Well, that is good news, I would think, for some of those guys who are up front are going to come in and get the rubber. Big Joe Hazard stays out. Jason Galvin stays out.
Boy, pushing hard, trying to get into a window here.
Yeah, I would think all of these guys are pitting right now. Lewin coming in. Rahula, Mercer, Mahan, all pitting. Not sure how much of that was just for fuel, how much was for repairs. Tutwiler in there a long time. His car, he may be done. Hate to see Ed Tutwiler out before I had a good chance to look at the car. Ed notorious for having something special on there. We're going to take a break right now on the Global Sim Racing channel. Don't go far. We'll be back in just a few. Presented by First Medical Equipment. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Lionheart IndyCar Series American Cancer Society Race for the Cure 150 from Dover International Speedway. We are working under yellow flag right now. with Joe Hassard out in front as he works lap 58. You want to know about Joe? Talk about him before we go to green. His best finish so far was a second at Indianapolis. He did lead 78 laps at the Texas Oval, but he finished well down the order there. Right now, the Big Joe Show takes him down into the first corner, working lap number 59. He's leading Jason Galvin and Dan Guerin. Hassard out there with about 30 lap older tires than the guys that are chasing him. Big Joe Show is good, but don't know if he's going to be able to hold off. Really, the car of the race so far has been that blue and gold KGET machine of Jason Galvin, who's looking to get around him. David Penny's baby boy, Dan Guerin, watching behind. Here we come. Underneath. Galvin makes the pass. Big Joe Hassard stuck on the top side. Guerin looking to get down under there as well. The familiar rainbow paint scheme of Robarge behind. Robarge gets a nice run as Guerin needs to check up a little bit. Let's give a tip and a half to Hassard. Doing a good job of hanging in there, Big Joe.
Just behind them, we've got a battle going on here. Jake Wright leading it all. But it's Goodman and Zaldo, Stouffer, Mikas, all right there.
Jake Wright doing what he does so often at ovals, just hang around. Sometimes you forget about him. The road course specialist, but he's fast on ovals as well, has his share of those victories as well. Sitting back there in 6th position, is mine in his time. Ahead of the New York driver, Michael Goodman. Goodman looking to the inside. I think Wright's going to surrender that one.
I think this battle between Stouffer and Bob Mikas is a powder keg right now, to be honest with you. These two not giving each other much room right now, Sue.
Stouffer has been on a roll of late. He's feeling his oats. Working on Bob Mikas. Mikas had a taste of running up front.
Yeah, Bobby keeps shutting the door on him. Yeah. I don't know how long that's going to pay off with some of the net code we've seen this evening. I think you better be careful.
Up front is still Jason Galvin, Dan Guerin, Robarge. Big Joe Hassard has fallen back to 4th. That's really to be expected with the tire wear that he has going on right now.
Hey,
You're looking at Adam Blocker there. This is a newcomer to the series, Sean. He's racing in 5th right now in that beautiful blue-colored machine. He's good.
He is. He's hooked up here for sure. That's a Carolina driver. I don't think we have a lot of those here in the Lionheart IndyCar series.
Nah, those boys from Carolina like to put the fenders on the cars.
With George Gonzalo trying to hang on to his spot, but Stouffer wants to take it from him. That's for 9th. Mikas was able to clear all that and get around. A lot of momentum lost by Stouffer there on that last attempt. He gathers it up, makes another run at him, jumps to the top side. George got great balance down there below. George put in a lot of practice here for this one this week.
Sean, the impression I'm getting is passing is difficult when all things are equal, when the drivers are on the same quality of rubber. Not so much the case when you're looking at guys that are at a disadvantage from older tires. We had a nice early first lap green flag run, went about 12 or 15 laps. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it was 1/10 of the race. Then we've had quite a little litter of yellow flags. Guerin out in front by about 0.6 of a second over Robarge. Let me correct myself. Galvin out in front of Robarge. Guerin racing in 3rd.
You know, watching James Garula back here starting to slowly inch his way up. He's got Pete Edwins right there with him and Scott Bolster on the outside.
Pete just backed off the wall and he's turned.
Oh,
the last lap, Edwins had it in the wall, and that time James turned him, and it looks like it pushed him off the racing line.
Yeah, I don't think you blame James on that one. He just had a run on him, and I think Pete was a little slow already.
Yeah. Honestly, I think James may have put him out of his misery here.
I don't see any damage on Krahula's DW12. The Patriot Fire DW12 looks to be okay. He's giving good chase right now to Vincent Bluthenthal.
Krahula demonstrating a little euthanasia there as Edwin is mercifully retired. He had just banged it off the wall really hard the last lap.
Yeah.
And the car wasn't good, and I think Krahula got surprised by his pace.
Heavy damage on the right side of Pete's DW12.
Commentators, we always try to find the give the drivers the benefit of the doubt whenever possible. So your top 5 right now continue to be Jason Galvin, Jason Robarge, Don't Call Me Jason, Dan Guerin, the Big Joe Show, doing a nice job on those old tires in 4th, Adam Blocker. Heard somebody else slam the wall, but I guess we're okay.
Yeah, not seeing anybody there. Didn't see anybody get it.
Now I'm looking at my timing and scoring. Sean, maybe you can see the same thing. Are you showing Big Joe Hassard out there for 62 laps?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Using those cautions to his advantage. I would be curious to know exactly how much he has left in the tank right now, though. He's still turning great laps, though. He's right on par with everybody else.
Racing in 4th position.
Battle for P6. Goodman. Goodman just pulls off the pass, and Jake Wright, he'd been working on that for a little while there, Sue. Yeah. Goodman certainly a favorite to try and win this race. Looking for that elusive first win. Who was that? Somebody just called they were coming in. Was that George Gonzalo? Oh, Big Joe. The Big Joe Show.
Well,
oh,
63 is as far as you can go.
A green flag stop is not what he was looking for. I got to be honest.
I appreciate the effort, but having to pit under green, yeah. When the yellow flags are so prevalent, that's just painful.
And it's a 35-mile-an-hour pit lane, Sue. Again, they're getting around here in 17.5 seconds.
So this will be interesting as he was running in 4th position. We'll see how many laps he actually loses here. I think it could be as many as 2.
He's down 2 now.
And not only does he have to come in, but his tank is empty.
Okay, yeah, that was a really, really long stop. Yeah. I think we may have had a speeding on pit road. I hear the dejection in his voice as he says he's pitting out. Very long stop. Big Joe Hassard going to lose, I think, 3 full laps on that, maybe 4 by the time they get back around.
When I was at St. Matthew's Elementary School, Sister Mary Catherine told me haste makes waste. Currently, Big Joe was not in class that day. Sister Mary Catherine, a very, very nice nun.
Soup, they put Big Joe down 3 laps there.
3 laps.
The leader's 3 laps. That's going to be really tough to recover from that.
Let's look at 4th position. This is Adam Blocker and Michael Goodman. A couple newcomers here that we have high hopes for. Blocker in the blue car, Goodman underneath them right now. This is a battle for 4th. Watching the whole thing back there, Jake Wright, who's just, I think, looking for a nice place to run. Not too close, not too far.
Yeah, Michael Goodman, one of those drivers that made an appearance, a few appearances at the end of last season, competing for a rookie title here. Certainly love to get that first win. Dover would not be a bad place to get started.
Right back there. My dad used to call it Goldilocks racing, where this position is too close, this position is too far. He just wants to race right there. Not too close, not too far. Put in the laps. Start the racing when we get a little bit closer. But Sean, we're on lap 90, only 60 to go from here.
I know. You know, you look at that and you go, wow, what happened all of a sudden? Well, I'll tell you what happened. We got a nice green flag run. This has been a good long one. In fact, as I look at timing and scoring now, I see there's a good portion of our field right now that is pushing it to the limit on fuel. So we may see some more green flag pit stops here in a moment. If
Granted,
we do,
there have been some green flag runs, but yeah, Galvin and Robarge, those guys are racing 46, 47 laps on this stint.
well, this could definitely help Big Joe Hassert. That's a good chance for him to get back into this thing. He's got to dig right now. His lap's really, really fast right now, but I don't know if they're fast enough. We'll see. I have a feeling here we're going to see several cars make the call here in just a moment, Sue.
A driver that can stay out for a while is Bob Mikas. He's got about 10 laps less on his tires and fuel. Big Joe, of course, we would think it would be good other than we believe he picked up that speeding penalty. We're going to look at 8th position. This is quite a little pinata full of bees. A small pinata, but nevertheless there's a lot of buzzing going on there. Stouffer, Anzaldo, Krahula, and Bolster. Now Bolster is a hard charger, up 14 spots. Looking to the inside is Krahula, and Zaldo up in front of him. The nose on Krahula's car looks good after he got into Edwin's. I don't think there's any damage there.
Sorry, Sue. Bob Mikas was really, really struggling coming across the start-finish line. That car washed up the track. Big Joe Hassert was right near him. He got a little bit of the wall, had to get out of the throttle, and allowed Big Joe Hassert to get by him. Now, of course, that's not a battle for position, but look at the replay there. You see him getting the wall there.
Yeah, I think the meat machine might have got tenderized a little bit there as it went up into the wall. We talked about him. Remember, he can go a little longer than these guys.
Corolla just picking off George Anzaldo. That definitely a battle for position. Two guys on the same pit strategy. Not quite, actually. Sorry, I'll take that back. Krahula moving up through the field, though. Up to 9th.
Yeah, we're going to see Stouffer coming in. Galvin is coming in right now.
Here we go.
I think these guys would have probably stayed out as long as they could. The last thing, Galvin really locks him up coming in. Pit lane has not been his friend this season.
This pit entry, very tricky. You've got to get really slowed down long before. It's in the middle of the turn, basically, Sue. So you've got to start slowing down in your entry to 3 to get in.
The 3 leaders have all come in. Galvin, Robarge, Guerin. Let's add to that George Anzaldo, Adam Blocker coming in as well.
Jake Wright.
And I got to think that these guys ran it as long as they could. The last thing they wanted to do was come in early and then get caught out under a yellow flag. Oh, Jason Galvin got a speeding penalty, we believe.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch.
Guerin is long gone, as is Robarge. In fact, out of those guys, Robarge out first, Guerin well out, George Anzaldo about 10 seconds back, and Galvin paying the price. In fact, it'll be interesting to see if Galvin, where he comes out in relationship to Big Joe Hassert. They both had to pay the penalty. Look at that. Big Joe was able to come out ahead of Galvin in 16th position. Galvin back there in 17th. But the stopping is not done, because here they come. How about Blumenthal and Armour coming in?
Mike. Oh, boy, Adam Blocker out there doing some really, really risky driving. Just split the middle on Michael Goodman, and I think that was Jake Wright.
Going to get a quick replay of this one, as the action is really mid-entrance.
Blocker with those fresh tires. Just see him just bolt right between the two there, Goodman and Jake.
Our new leader, Woodrow, don't call me Mahan, out in front. He's got about 2 seconds on Robert Blue, and these guys are working on about a 50-lap stint. They are due any time.
Look at Woodrow up there at the front of this field. How about that second race? A little bit more luck tonight.
Robarge, Garrett, and Blocker. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Sue.
It's good to see the new guys come in here and do well. Boy, and he's going to stay out a little longer, it looks like.
He's going to definitely push it.
He is hoping for a yellow right now. He is this.
Okay, here he goes.
That means that Bluen, who has a few extra laps, might be able to stay out a little bit more. Nope. Robert had to come in. So that's a whole pit cycle done under green. Good news for the fans, good news for Big Joe Hassard, as he was the guy who had to do it first. Turns the lead over to Jason Robarge. About 1.4 seconds over Dan Guerin. Guerin about 2 positions up on Jake Wright. Remember, they are 1-2 in the point standings. This will be good. Actually, let's call that about 4 positions, I guess, as Wright currently is racing in 4th. No, I had it right the first time. Guerin in 2nd.
So it gives Robarge about a 2-second advantage. Maybe about a 1.5 seconds, but Guerin definitely starting to close. But things definitely seem to have sorted themselves out now, Sue. Cars spread out all over the place.
Yeah, you really have to start doing the calculations from here with 42 laps to go. I'm thinking that these guys, I don't know if Robarge, if let's say this thing went green the whole way, 41 laps, Robarge is on an 11-lap stint. Can he go 52 laps? No, not under green you can't. So these guys, the guys up front, Robarge, Guerin, and Blocker, all need to come in. I don't know about Wright and Goodman. They may be able to go the distance. The guys who certainly can go the distance are Blumenthal, Omrick, Mahan. These guys are way in the back. And we've done enough of these races, Sean, that sometimes races that are yellow fests early, things settle down, and they can go green. With only 40 laps to go, we could get there. It could happen.
Yeah, definitely can. And I've still got an eyeball on Big Joe Hassard. You know, boy, anything can happen now. He definitely needs to pit to finish this race, but he gets a caution flag. He stays on the lead lap, and boy, he's a contender to win this race. Big Joe been digging all night, having a heck of a run, even though he had that mistake.
Guerin had a... We go up here, we look at Robarge and Guerin. Robarge's stop in the box was 8.3 seconds. Guerin's was 10.1. And that interval was about the same from cone to cone. The bogey time just about 41 seconds to come in and out. Everyone's looking for a yellow right now. Except for the drivers in the back. Drivers like Vincent Blumenthal, Mark Omrick, Woodrow Mahan, Robert Bluen. Those guys are all good to go.
Yeah, Woodrow just picking up we're getting a little bit closer to getting back on his lap.
Galvin,
big trouble for Jason. Yep. Oh boy, that car went into a power slide, and he able to keep it up near the wall, stay out of the racing line, letting George Gonzalo get by. Look at this on the replay. Wow, that car slides up. He's going to slide again. Right here.
You know, he was right next to Scott Bolster. Maybe a little net code, or maybe the car got loose. You know, it was that same corner, though, wasn't it, where we've seen the issues before, corner 1. Let's look again on top. Maybe. Yeah, you know, it doesn't take much to turn him. What a great job by Galvin. The bad news is, a great save. The bad news is, we stay green.
Yeah, and that drops him all the way back to 11th. But listen, this race, not over yet. Galvin can still come out a winner here.
Now, Big Joe Hassard is racing in 13th position. He is about... Well, that's Blumenthal right behind him. Blumenthal is last car on the lead lap. And Hassard had to come in. Okay, then we expected that one. He'll be good to go from here. Now, what's interesting, Blumenthal is about to be lapped by Robarge. Even with a splash and go, I don't think, I guarantee it's impossible for Robarge to come in, splash and go, and not lose a lap. So Blumenthal just needs to put in some quality lap times right now, because he is the leader of that group that can go from here. And Sean, it's only 30 laps now.
That's it, buddy. That's it. Yes. The early caution flags that plagued this race have gone bye-bye, and we are running, baby. Running right to the finish.
Okay.
A lot of guys here still with a lot of strategy on the line. I really think Jake Wright, Michael Goodman, maybe even Adam Blocker, I think they're going to be good to the finish, honestly. Jason Robarge, boy, that's going to be tough.
They're on a 23-lap stint right now with 28 to go. That's 51. I don't know. There are some guys that are closer than that, though. Bob Mikas has a 2-lap advantage, as does Scott Bolster. I feel pretty confident that Mikas can get there. James Krahula, again, in fact, James Krahula is the dean of pit topology, with apologies to the doctor of pit topology, who's at the board right now, but Krahula has this figured out. I would think Krahula, if Krahula's out there racing and is close to being able to go the distance, I think he probably can, unless he's hoping for yellows.
Garen closing in on the lead on Robarge there. Soup, who's going to run out of fuel tonight? We're going to see somebody run out of fuel on this track. I'm beginning to think we might.
I think so. I think so. Good news is it's only a mile around. You could probably coast it around here if you ran out of fuel. It's one of the things I always marvel at Indianapolis when they run out of fuel, how far those cars will roll. I wish my Ford Escape would do that when I run out of fuel. I see the gas station a block away. My car goes about 2 houses. Right now, Robarge out in front. Oh, nope, we're okay. I heard some bumping and banging, but we're still all right. Here comes Krahula. Let's look at Krahula going under Mikas. This might be more important than you think. Oh, Mikas touches the wall once, twice. 3 times for good measure? No, twice is enough, he says. Krahula makes the pass. Let's go on board with the meat machine.
Now Krahula just takes it.
Boink.
Yeah, Bob gets it off the wall there.
That car is well marinated. Yeah.
Not quite 3 times a lady there, Sue.
Stouffer now around Mikas. Well, I had hopes for Mikas having a good race. I don't think the car is healthy right now. Stouffer gets around him. Stouffer, though, 2 laps longer on fuel. I'm liking James Krahula. The betting window is open at Vegas, and they'll take a bet. Go to James Krahula. We're going to look at 3rd position. This is a blocker. The light blue car on the inside. That is right. Goldilocks. It's time to go racing.
Jake finally able to complete the pass. Here comes Michael Goodman just behind. Blocker looking for an opportunity, leaving a door open for Goodman.
19 to go. There are a lot of drivers out there thinking about rivers in China, old oak trees, and Texas roses, things that are yellow.
Oh boy. Yeah, Vincent Blumenthal almost made it yellow. Man, that was really, really close. Big Joe Hassard just behind him. Woodrow Mahan there. Ugh. Really, really sketchy moment.
Hassard in the hunt as well. Who would have thought that a race that was so infected by yellow flags early on would have a chance to go green like this? Well, if you've watched Global Sim Racing Channel enough, you know that often this is the case. 16 to go, Sean. Is it? It's hard to put on your dancing shoes when you know you got a pit stop left, but is it time?
Brother, it is. It's time to boogie. Let's get this party started right now here at Dover.
Okay, we're going to look at P2 right now, and we're going to put our attention up front. This is Wright. He is now up to second. Here comes Guerin on the inside. Guerin gets that pass made. No, let me correct myself. That's Wright with the pass. Guerin following in suit behind him. They were getting around Omrick. The blue car comes in there as well as Adam Blocker. They run second, third, and fourth. Wright, Guerin, and Blocker. They are about 3/10 of a second behind the rainbow machine of Jason Robarge. Robarge coming up on lap traffic of Woodrow Mahan. Can those guys go the distance? Here comes your point leader, Wright, looking inside. He's got to back out. He's got Bluthenthal and Mahan up in front. That is a battle for 13th position, which could be a lot higher, assuming the guys behind him have to pit. Robarge says, pit Schmidt. As he gives a little bump to Mahan. Robarge still can't get it done. Wright trying to get in there. Mahan now takes the high side. Can he keep it off the wall? He can. There goes the leaders by. Robarge and Wright. Garrett does not want to be left out of the party, right, Sean?
Oh, Mahan had a really, really wild moment. Almost collects Dan Guerin there. Now he's wheel to wheel.
The blue car of Blocker gets it done.
Yeah, Blocker.
That's Goodman as well, trying to get in there. Mercer and Omrick coming in. Seems early for them. They had only gone 39 laps. Not sure. That is not a good omen for the drivers up front like Robarge. Robarge working on a 42-lap stint. 42 laps with 10 to go. That means he's got to go, when I do the math, it's 53 laps. My pre-race information said that you cannot do it on 53 laps. 49 is the most. Robarge trying to fend off Jake Wright. This may all be for naught, though, as the real winner back here might be a driver like James Krahula, who has 3 laps more fuel in his car than these guys up front. Robarge able to fend off Wright right now. 8 laps to go. Guerin back there in third. Are they racing for the win, or are they racing to see who's first to the pit lane? They come across lap 144 right now of 150. They have another lap car to deal with. That's Vincent Bluthenthal, the last car on the lead lap. Another slow car underneath is Matthew Mercer. Mercer keeps it down low right now. Robarge on the top side gets it done. Wright wants to follow suit. Mercer's going to be first into the corner. Wright has to take a higher line. That means that the car of Guerin might have a run in there. They're working now. Lap 145. 6 to go. Bluthenthal is slow. Is he out of fuel or is he coming into the pits?
On board with Dan Guerin here. The team nailed it on board camera. You see this fight going on just up in front of him. Oh, and it looks
like
Bob
a pit up front. Is there room? He gets in the way. There was no room for Robarge. He had to check up. Now the new leader is your point leader, Jake Wright. They come across with 4 to go right now. Well, let me correct myself. Yeah, 4 to go. He is working lap number 46 and a half. Can he go 50 laps? They lie to us, Sean. They lie to us in the information they give us. They said 48, 49 is the most. This is going to have to be a 51-lap stint for Jake Wright. He's out in front and pulling away. Guerin in third, and Zaldo says he has to pit. A yellow flag right now is what people need. Jake Wright going around. 2 to go.
Somebody's running out of fuel. Oh, I think
Robarge looks slow. Robarge looks really slow right now. I think it's a matter of how slow can Jake Wright go and still get there. I'm fast and I have a light foot. He comes around with 2 to go with the white flag now for Jake Wright. He can coast it from here. He's still full throttle as he works the backstretch. 2 more corners to go. Jake Wright comes around and he wins the American Cancer Society. The race for the cure goes to Jake Wright.
And Dan Guerin was going to pass Jason Robarge out of turn 4 and slaps the wall. Robarge pulls off the second place finish. Dan Guerin manages to hang onto the podium there.
Adam Blocker, we're going to go back and look. This is the pass for the lead. This is where they come up. I believe it was Mikus, if memory
Yeah,
serves me correct.
it was Bob Mikus. Yeah, he basically sets this pick here for.
We're gonna.
Oh, and we're not getting it.
We're gonna see if we can find it. Oh, we're not gonna be able to get it. What happened was Wright took the move underneath and forced Robarge up top, and that's right where Mikus was doing, trying to stay out of the way. And Wright gets the pass made.
Yeah, and Bob was off pace, obviously, but again, trying to stay out of the way, but unfortunately, there's just nowhere for Robarge to go there.
Well, the racing is over here at the Monster Mile, but the GSRC broadcast is not. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back to launch into the Lock Precision post-race show, where we'll run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and give you the answer to that very tough trivia question. We'll be back in a few. Enjoy the commercial. Welcome back to the Monster Mile as we launch into the Lock Precision Rocketry post-race show. Soup and Crackers here to review the American Cancer Society Race for the Cure 150 that you just saw here on the Global Sim Racing channel. You know, this is only the second year that, we're going to go to the replay right now before we do the plug. That's okay. Sean, we're going to look at this great pass release.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So there's Bob Mikas up on the top side, the Von Hansen's meat market car. Robar's right there in the rainbow machine, stuck up top. Mike is trying to stay out of the way, winds up setting a pick there that allows Jake Wright to make that move to the inside. That winds up being the last move of the race that Jake needed. He only leads 5 laps in this race, but leads the very most important one, and that was the last one. Jake Wright, the big winner. Let's go to the results, Sue.
Absolutely. Before we do that, though, we have to pay the bills and talk about the great sponsor, which is, of course, Lock Precision. But because they've been for over 30 years, the name Lock Precision has been synonymous with the mid and high-powered rocketry. Lock Precision manufactures a full line of high-quality precision-fit components to meet your building, repairing, and customizing needs. For more information, please visit lockprecision.com. And remember, fly hard, fly safe, fly Lock. And let me tell you about a guy who flew hard, flew safe, and at the end, he flew right to the win, and that is Jake Wright. Sean talked about it. He didn't lead many laps. I think the last 5. Jake Wright picks up the win. Nice job from him. Jason Robarge was in great position until he got picked. We saw that on the replay. He's going to come home in second. Dandy Dan Guerin gets third. Adam Blocker and Michael Goodman, 2 rookies that we still think one of them's going to get a win one of these days, as they sit 4th and 5th, rounding out your top 5. The man I thought had a real chance, James Krahula, who we talked a little bit here before while we were off at break. He said there is no way that Jason Robarge could go 52 laps on a stint. That's what Jason did to finish second. Jake Wright went 50. Chris Stouffer, Scott Bolster, Woodrow Mahan, and Robert Bluen round out your top 10. Sean?
All right, then we'll go back to 11th. It's going to be Bob Mikas there in 11th, and Jason Galvin with a 12th place finish. George Anzaldo, 13th. Both of them had to the AGR teammates come up just short on fuel soup and have to pit there at the end. Patrick Taylor, 14th. The Big Joe Show. What could have been winds up with a 15th place finish. Mark Almec, 16th. Vincent Blumenthal, despite his troubles, manages a top 20 finish in 17th. Matthew Mercer, 18th. Pete Edwards, the DirtyBlinds.com onboard camera tonight, 19th. 20th, going to go to Eddie Tutwiler.
The guitar playing, get the accountant in the blackjack position there in 21st, right ahead of Ron Hacker. Brandon Lickerman, Pierre Nightingale. Oh my goodness, Pierre had a tough night of it, finished with 109 laps down in 24th position. The Racing Kangaroo, Michael Gray in 25th. 26th goes to Have a Catch, Andrew Kinsella. He was sitting 3rd in the points. Not going to be so good for him. Brian, it's not easy being Greenlee in 27th position. Tony Schowen behind him. 29th, 30th, and 31st are going to go to George D. Adams. Find me a nickname, Soup. Brian Yosick and Jack Bogan. Okay, Sean, I think it's your turn to talk to the winner. You get to talk to Jake tonight.
Let's do it. Jake Wright, congratulations. Last year, you couldn't finish this race. This year, things turned around just a bit. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I was not looking forward to going into this race. I just figured I was going to put myself in the wall or something. It's like the first time in forever I've been scared of wrecking myself out of a race. So I honestly have no idea how I ended up in victory lane tonight.
Well, let's talk about 4 laps to go and what kind of unfolded in front of you. You saw Bobby up there top side of the track. What were you thinking there as you kind of came up on that?
I saw a potential pick, but I tried to give room if we wanted to go 3 wide. I saw that. I wasn't really sure what was going to happen there, so I just kind of hoped we all made it through clean.
I think you've seen enough in practice and in the practice races to know that 3 wide probably not going to work out at this track, especially with the netcode issues seem to be pretty extreme here. I guess that's got a lot to do with the tight quarters and really, really fast speeds we see at this track.
Yeah, it must. I don't know if these cars are really meant for this track or not, so I'm not surprised that there were a lot of netcode issues tonight, and I kept that in mind when I was making my passes tonight, trying to keep as much room between me and the other car as possible.
Yeah, and that is the key, obviously. Now, one of the guys you're fighting with for this championship, Andrew Kinsella, has some really, really tough luck to start the race. And did you know he was out at that point?
Yeah, I feel bad for him. It happened right in front of me, so I saw it happen. It scared the crap out of me. But yeah, it sucks for him. But just the netcode in general tonight was pretty bad, and I'm just thankful we didn't get caught up in any of it.
Well, Jake, again, congratulations, buddy, and we'll see you next time. I'm sure there are more great things on the horizon for you, but a great points night and a great victory here at the Monster Mile.
Thanks, Sean. I'll see you guys next week.
All right, and that is Jake Wright, driver and defending champion. He runs with the one, Soup, and that's for a reason. But I think you've caught up with Jason Galvin, who's coming to talk about the achievements of his team this evening.
Yeah, we wanted to talk to second-place driver Jason Robarge, but Jason no hablas inglés, so we'll bring in Jason Galvin to do a little either translation or the spokesperson for his team. Jason, congratulations. Before we talk about you, let's go ahead and talk about your partner, Jason Robarge. He went 52 laps on that last stint. You were not able to do that.
Does Jason know we're talking to him? Jason, you there, buddy?
Jason Galvin, see, this is what happens when you bring in a translator. Obviously, no hablas inglés from Jason Galvin as well. Let's bring Jason. Let's come out. We'll come back and get Jason in a minute.
Yeah, why don't you talk to Dandy?
I'll talk to Dan Guerin. Okay. Dan Guerin had a great car all race, could never quite seem to get up to the lead. Dan, did you actually lead some laps? I don't remember you actually being up there.
I did, actually. I was just following Jacek there at the very beginning, and I saw he was just trying to keep his car down and hold that bottom line. I'm like, okay, well, do that, burn your tires up, and I'll just come around you. And that's just what I did, went around him on the high side.
Okay. Now, look, we are provided by the Lionheart guys. The commentators get provided with information. And it said right there in bold type, maximum run 48, 49 laps at the most. You managed to go 52 as well as Robarge. How is that possible? Did you know you could go 52?
I did not. I got one fuel run in, and that was practice, I don't know, Sunday or something, whatever we ran practice last week, I guess. And I didn't know what the car was capable of doing. We were only getting about 10, 15, 20 laps total on these runs because of cautions. And
right.
Just couldn't get anything done with it. So I figured, well, fresh tires at least. And then after everybody started dropping out, it's like, okay, well, what can I do here on fuel? And that last pit stop, Jason called it, Robarge called it. Like, screw it, I'm going in with them. And I nailed my pit stop. Jason had issues with his. We took off. And I had to save the whole time. And I ran out down the front stretch.
Tell me how you save. How do you actually do that?
I actually ran half to 3/4 throttle that whole last stint. I let Robarge just get out there ahead. I let him just get away from me. I'm like, okay, well, I need to start saving. Otherwise, I'm not going to make it at all. And all these other guys are like, come past me, Mark. Come past me, Joe. You guys just come past me. I'll try to get you drafted. Nope, they just kept taking off from me. So I couldn't save but for like fifth and sixth gear, running half to 3/4 throttle the whole time.
So it's a matter to run fast enough to stay in contention, but slow enough so you can finish, huh?
Yep, I reeled in Jason, and I was reeling him in, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm right where I need to be. David Cordy, my spotter, he's like, okay, I need fuel numbers. What are you sitting at? I'm like, it's bouncing all over the place. It's at 0, it's at 4, it's at 5, it's at 9, it's 7. It was literally all over the place.
I'll get you out of here on this one. Third place is a good points day usually, except when the man you chasing gets the win. Jake Wright only led 5 laps.
You only need to lead 1, unfortunately. But I saw him coming and I'm like, okay, well, I can hold him off. And then he passes me. I'm like, okay, well, he's going to battle Jason. I'll let them two do whatever. and I'll try to get him there. And then I watch my fuel. I'm up at 0.3. I'm like, well, dang it, I need to save still. So I was just running out of time. Then I'm like, okay, Jake's passed him. So there's a few laps left. I'll try to get Robarge here. And that last lap, I tried to get around the high side of him, and I did smoke the wall off 4 and caused a wreck down after the race there in turn 1. Feel bad about that. I didn't want any inks. Didn't want anybody else to have any inks, but I was just trying to get that one more position.
Got it. Well, good luck to you the rest of the way. You're still in the hunt, so we will follow you. Still got about 11 races to go, so we're okay.
Yep, but it's still got a few races to go there. So, yeah. But just one quick shout out to my teammates and my spotter, Dave Barber Financial, Fox Precision. Hopefully, another good run for you.
Good deal. Dan Garrett, and let's correct myself there. If I do the math, I think we got 9 races to go to be precise, as this was race 14 of 24, so you can figure it out. Are we going to take one more chance with the Bakerfield guy? Do you think he's got us?
I think he's got us.
All right.
Jason Galvin, driver of the number 42 DW12 here in the Lionheart IndyCar Series. Jason, a great run by your teammate, Jason Robarge, this evening. Let's talk a little bit about that quick. And then we could talk a little bit about what happened to you and George there at the end.
Yeah, what a run by Jay, huh? What a night for AGR Motorsports, first off. I mean, Michael Goodman got his first career pole. We led a bunch of laps, and Jason, I thought he had a chance to win that race. I wish I could talk to him to tell you what was going on, but I know that him and I and Dan, we all put on the same lap, and we were nowhere close to making it. I mean, it was not particularly close at all when we came back out, and I don't think any of us realized how much fuel everybody else had saved on that first stint. So, like, when Goodman came in and came back out, he was like, man, I'm wide open. I don't have to save or anything, and I'm good. And I know that Jay at that point knew he was in trouble and kind of backed off and started saving. So, I think that was the difference between a win and not, but that's why Jake Wright's the 2-time defending series champion, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Jason, did you get hit with a speeding penalty there?
Yeah, on the first green flag stop.
Yeah.
I did not hear Dan call his pit, and he did. And several other guys said they did. I don't know if he got talked over. I have a couple different channels. For whatever reason, I'm not blaming Dan. It's my fault. I sped, but I took my foot off the brake to roll because I was concerned that I knew Jason was coming in. I was concerned Dan was going to be at speed, and I didn't want him to hit me. So I let the car roll a little farther than I should have. And when I turned it down, I had too much speed still, and it unloaded. And by the time I gathered it up and saved it, it was far too late. So we got hit with the speeding penalty. It was really unfortunate. I'm pretty frustrated about it in general. I don't think that there's much I could have changed or done. And frankly, who knows how the end of the race plays out anyways, because I'm not the best at saving fuel. But the PlastiDipGarage.com car was hauling butt tonight. I got to thank them for coming on board and sponsoring a couple of guys in the league and everybody at AGR. And then that last pit stop, I guess Scott Bolster and I think we net coded. I don't know if you guys even got that on the broadcast at one point. Him and I went into turn 1 and I didn't think I turned down on that much. I think we net coded, and I had another Michigan save. So we can add that to the highlight reel for the year. But I scraped the wall, and it was a 0x, and I didn't think anything of it until George and I pit with 2 laps to go, and it held me for 15 more seconds to put a rear wing on it. So it probably cost me a few more spots at that point. It kind of is what it is. I don't think 12th place is indicative of how good we are, and it's 2 years in a row. I feel like Dover's got away from us, but that's why it's the Monster Mile.
Hey, Jason, before you go soup here, let me give you a little quiz on your new sponsor.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that they spray it on, or do you think they actually dip the car? What would be your guess?
I mean, I've seen pictures of cans, so I'm hoping that they spray it on. Okay. But yeah, hey, that's a cool deal for Alaska Plasti Dip to come on like that. PlastiDipGarage.com to help out and sponsor everybody. That's cool that they even thought to reach out to the league and to pick myself and Andrew and Woodrow's new to the league and to pick him up. That's pretty cool that they kind of went all over the place. They got a Canadian points leader. I know he's out of the points lead now. They got me. I don't know what I'm worth, but we'll find out as the season goes on. They picked up a rookie. It's cool, and this ended up being a pretty good race once we got clear of things tonight. So it's exciting. We're on to Atlanta next week, right?
That's right.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
I'm just saying the defending race winner there. So I'm out for blood. I'm out for blood, boys.
Well, listen, you will walk away from this race still the all-time leader in lap sled. So
at Dover?
Take that with you. Yes, at Dover.
Is that worth a trophy?
No, it's not. It's worth
Can you
nothing.
mention it in Thoughts from the Woodshed next week?
I might mention it tomorrow in my Thoughts of the Woodshed. So, all right, Jason. Hey, congratulations, buddy, to you and the entire team this evening. We will see all of you next week in Atlanta.
Yes, we will, boys. Take care.
And Soup, that was our good old buddy Jason Galvin there, and great run by him and the AGR guys this evening. Again, Michael Goodman with a top 5 finish, and that first victory, it still eludes him.
Yeah, it's coming. Okay, that's going to wrap up our show, but stick around because we have the trivia answer for you at the very end here, and I don't know if we have a winner tonight. But before we do that, we have to thank the people that make this possible, and one of them is First Medical Equipment. They've been the source for medical supplies and equipment in the Burlington, Iowa area for years because of their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and customer service. For more information, please visit, now this is important, firstmedequipment.com. Also, how about the HPP simulations? Nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system in the world of sim racing, designed and manufactured right here in the United States of America on state-of-the-art CNC equipment. HPP hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, I bet you know where to go. Go to hppsimulation.com. Sean?
Do you love meat? Well, we want to thank Von Hansen Meats for sponsoring Countdown to Green, the new old-fashioned market butcher shop. Thank you so much, Von Hansen's Meats. And we also want to thank Lock Precision Rocketry for sponsoring the post-race show. Fly hard, fly safe, fly lock, Soup.
I'm still waiting on the GoPro information. If you can put a GoPro on the top. So if you know, let's tell us next week. We got
to talk to Dave Parker about that. All right. Now, thanks to everyone at the Lionheart IndyCar Series for organizing the series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. We also want to thank today's race sponsor, Pete Edwards, for sponsoring this event. Thanks a lot, Pete. We appreciate you.
And how about the companies, equipment, and software that you see on the screen right now? Well, we want to thank them too. We use it on our broadcast, and it allows us to do what we do. And also, Eric Eckelm and Casey Lalonde. Who are they? Well, they're the composers that provide the original music that you heard tonight on this show. We thank them for all they do. See the screen for how to contact each of them.
The Lionheart IndyCar Series will return in 1 week, August 2nd, for the Utility Equipment 200 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. GSRC will be there, and we hope you join us. If you'd like to find out more about the Global Sim Racing Channel, your best bet is to type that into your web browser, globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel. If you go to Facebook and type in Global Sim Racing Channel, we'll pop right up.
And Sean, I hope you appreciate how the producers put the ND on the end there, second, so you didn't say seconds or secondth this time. You got this right. Okay, now it's time for the trivia question and answer. So let's go ahead. Remember, this is about who is the IndyCar driver, USAC Kart, IRL, or IndyCar, with 84 career starts, but his or her only 2 career wins came in the same year at Milwaukee and Dover. No way, Sean, anybody got this one right. Did anybody get this one?
No, they failed miserably. In fact, I think it was Abba Slottick was the only one who actually took a stab at it, and he said Mario Andretti, and obviously that's not right. It was Art Pollard in 1969, the great Art Pollard.
Yeah, he only had 2 wins. I'm old enough to barely remember Art Pollard. Sadly, I remember him losing his life at an Indy qualifying practice run. So it's nice that we can get a little bit of attention. We talk about Dan Weldon. Well, we talk about Art Pollard as well. And that's going to do it for us here. So finally, there's one last thing that we have to thank. One last set of people that are very important. And on behalf of Sean, our director, Amjad Yaman, and the camera artist, Dougie Beard, we'd like to thank you all for watching. And with that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.